What's up, everyone, and welcome back to episode number 19 of the Onnnnn Block Podcast. It is Sunday, September 15th, 2024. I am your host here, Nordic 97, with my other host, LeBlock James. How are we doing today?
We're fantastic. We finally got everything to work for this podcast.
Finally, we've had some technical errors. We've actually been dealing with it the last few episodes, but we always persevere. Nordblock does not give up. So today we have another pretty good episode here for you guys. We're not expecting this one to be too long, and when I'm saying that, this is going to be at least an hour. Today we are doing our Pacific Division preview. We're going to go through each team, kind of talk about our overall thoughts on them, and just, some other things that have to do with the Pacific Division. First off, though, we have some news to talk about. Let me just pull up the good old news report. I wish we had a sponsor. I'd be like, Onnnnn Block News Report, brought to you by some company. It shows, I'm a child. No one wants to partner with me. So there's been a few pieces of news, nothing too much. We're going to just kind of breeze through this. Nick Robertson signed a 1-year, $875K deal with the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it seems like there is more to that situation than may be advertised. When we look at Nick Robertson, he was somebody who requested a trade out of Toronto, said that he wanted to, get some more playing time on another team, which is a little bit questionable because I feel like with how weak Toronto's forward core is, and by weak, I mean like it's the first line and it's just crickets.
Very top heavy.
I feel like Robertson could have really gotten a legitimate opportunity with Toronto, but it seems like that's not going to be the case. It seems more than likely that the Leafs are going to trade Robertson before the beginning of the season. It seems that, the two of them, they obviously don't want to play together or work together. He doesn't want to be on the Leafs, and that seems to be the general consensus. I'm not going to lie to you, LeBlanc, would you want Robertson on your team? Well, maybe not on Ottawa, but if you were another team, would you want Robertson?
Yeah. You look at him, and you look at the work he's put in. The opportunity he's gotten is very limited, but I still think there is some potential there. It's not what remember when he's only 20 years old. That's gone. But for depth, I take him as a fourth liner. I take him as a fringe third liner on a bad team. I take a chance
he's
on him.
Someone who could score 20 goals.
Yeah, and that's what teams need. They need depth scoring. So,
yep,
you look at that and you think, hey, why wouldn't I take a swing on a guy like that?
Yeah, honestly, I was looking at it. I'm like, yeah, I kind of want Robertson on my team. I wouldn't mind him as a guy who picks up a good 20 goals, and he could probably fit well on the third or fourth line. Maybe he wants a better role than that, but he's got to prove that. That's the biggest thing. Yes, we're kind of speaking highly on him right now, but he hasn't proved to be a second line forward or anything more than what he is right now on Toronto. Now, if he goes to a team like Calgary, let's say, or San Jose, then, he'll probably get top 6 minutes. But if he wants to play on a legitimately competitive team, he's probably going to have to prove himself on those third and fourth lines there, like he did not do in Toronto for the most part, and kind of get himself to that level. So again, Robertson signing a 1-year deal. Pretty nice. Jared Tenorti signed a 1-year, $800K deal with the Calgary Flames. Tenorti was one of the only valuable defensemen that was currently left in the free agency pool. There were a few guys that were kind of signed that were kind of just stragglers, I guess, from free agency. But overall, Tenorti will be a solid NHLer if he does get to that level, but obviously we'll see what he can do. Few other pieces of news, nothing too much here. James Van Riemsdyk signed a 1-year, $900K deal with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Van Riemsdyk was, I don't want to say he was widely regarded as one of the better free agents on the market at this stage, but he was one of the guys left that made you wonder, like, why isn't he signed to a deal yet? So Van Riemsdyk, I think it's a low risk, high reward deal for Columbus because if you pick this guy up and he puts up a good 20-goal season, you can go flip him at the trade deadline. I'm sure there are plenty of teams that would want to go get him. And please don't let it be Philly. LeBlanc, what do you think about this?
I think it's a good deal. JVR was, I'll be honest, he was the best at UFA left on the market.
Probably.
Um, at a low cap hit, when you look at guys who, like, you see the stragglers who are left, it's usually because A, they wanted a longer term deal or more money on the deal, and other teams were like, nah, we'll just wait it out. And I feel like the time with JVR, he had a pretty good year with the Boston Bruins, and bringing him on a vet, a quality vet, to a young Columbus team is not only good for the room, but it's going to be good for production on the ice as well. He's going to get all the opportunity to play and help these young guys develop at the same time. Kind of like a Nick Foligno, Taylor Hall situation.
Yeah, it's going to give him a lot of benefit too. I think that again, as I said, it's a low risk, high reward type thing.
Mm.
That's what a lot of these signings are. Excuse me, at this rate. But yeah, I like the deal a lot. One of the other pieces of news that kind of made some headlines. First off, I want to discuss Kevin Lankinen. There were reports that Lankinen was offered I think it was a 1-year deal from Vancouver at less than $1 million. But Kevin Lankinen was like, no, I'm worth more than $1 million. So he obviously is kind of holding out right now. Vancouver's in a rough situation. Thatcher Demko probably going to miss training camp and likely the start of the season. Shilov's apparently is dealing with issues too. So they are scrambling to get a goalie right now. There were also reports. Sorry, I know you're trying to talk, but let me get through this. There are talks that Antti Ranta is done with the NHL and he's going to go over to Finland. So somebody who has played a long time in the NHL, probably done. So yeah, LeBlanc, what are your thoughts on this? And I think Vancouver is in on two of on both.
I have a theory, and the theory is that you look at Vancouver and their goalie depth. You look at they have Demko, who will come back at some point. Shilov, who is going to be the backup. You sign Kevin Lankinen. Lankinen, once Demko comes back, you're going to the AHL. And I really think he doesn't want to go to the AHL. Also, I think the quote was he didn't want to accept anything under $1 million.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah, so you look at Lankinen. I don't know why he's not signed yet. Lankinen's a quality backup goalie.
He did really good in Nashville last year. Like, I thought he did really good. Like, he had great backup numbers. It's kind of surprising. You think there'd be a few teams that would want to grab him by now. Like, I'm not saying that he should have been immediately picked up, but, like, come on, we're in September. He should have been signed.
I feel like it's going to drag into training camp, and once some team, and it happens every year, some team's going to get a starting goalie injury, and then they'll bring him in.
Yeah, I don't even know who is the Canucks' third-string goalie. Who is that?
I have no idea. I cannot tell you.
Yeah, apparently, if Shilovs is out, because there's been reports of that, Nikita Tolopilo will be your starting goalie. Do you want that? Not particularly.
Not really.
And listen, I'm not saying that Demko is going to be out for the entire season, but kind of puts the Canucks in a weird spot when you have no starting goalie because you need to start off hot. That's the biggest thing. I'm sure LeBlanc can definitely attest to that.
Yes.
You need to start hot. Sorry. That was an unnecessary chirp. I do apologize for that. Next up in news, Victor Soderstrom. There's a few more things here. There's actually more than I thought. Victor Soderstrom, there have been reports that with Soderstrom, he's hit a stalemate with the Arizona Coyotes, the Utah Hockey Club, formerly known as the Arizona Coyotes. And apparently he looked for interest outside of the NHL. He wants to go back home or go back to Europe because I think he's Swedish.
He's Swedish,
He signed a 2-year deal with Brynäs IF, which is a Swedish league team. He was drafted 11th overall in 2019 by the Arizona Coyotes. He played just 53 games with the club. So looking at that now, that is one of the bigger busts from recent memory, to be honest. And LeBlanc, kind of as a fun thing here, I want to read you the last or the 10 picks that went after Soderstrom.
Oh, I love
So
these. I
this
love
should be
reading
fun.
these.
All right, so it's the 2019 draft. This is the Jack Hughes, Kako, Doc, Byram draft. So it goes Trevor Zegras went ninth overall, Podkolzin went 10th, and then Soderstrom went 11th. And at the time, I don't really know. At the time, it was kind of looked at as a reach, but you had hope that Soderstrom was going to be solid.
It was like I remember this draft very well because I was big scout, like a big, like, little scout at the time, and I went to a draft party and they had him ranked. I wasn't it was He was a bona fide first rounder, but it seemed like a reach at 11. So I remember they traded up to get him
Yeah,
with
they traded.
Philadelphia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course, that's how it goes. But the picks that went after him, immediately after our 12th overall, Matt Boldy. Yeesh. Already not looking good. 13th overall, Spencer Knight. Okay, he's had his struggles. It's he's
Stanley
still
Cup champion Spencer
he's
Knight.
still a Stanley Cup champion. Soderstrom's not. Cam York, not a bad defenseman. I definitely take him over Soderstrom. Cole Caulfield, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even though we have our thoughts on Caulfield, we've said him in this podcast. Still
Still
not good.
60 goal
Uh,
scorer. Sorry,
yep.
60 point
Six, I was
score
gonna say,
point.
Alex Newhook. Yeah, he's had his moments. Definitely faced injuries, but I would take him over Soderstrom. Peyton Krebs, he struggled as well. There's
Yeah,
actually,
like he's not horrible, but he's not.
I mean, he's in the NHL at least.
He's a good third liner.
This one stings. Thomas Harley.
Yeah.
He's one of the RFAs that is not signed right now. Man, he's gonna get paid. He's gonna get so paid. Lassie Thompson, from Ottawa.
Bust.
Yeah, probably a bust. Ville Heinola, who is still a prospect.
Somehow.
Somehow, some way. Sam Poulin, who actually wasn't not too bad. And then Tobias Bjornfoot as well.
Tobias
So,
Bjornfoot.
Bjornfoot. You know I'm American when I say that. Other picks that were after him, we're just going to skim through here. Simon Holmstrom, Tomasino, Connor McMichael, Jacob Peltier, Johnny Beecher, Shane Pinto, Bobby Brink, Pyotr Kochetkov, Mads Sogard, Nils Hoglander, Alex Vlasic, and one more. Samuel Fagemo. Yeah. Overall, listen, at the time, he was a first rounder. It was a little bit of a stretch, but that is a pick that turned into a not so good of a pick for the Arizona Coyotes, now Utah Hockey Club. So thought that'd be fun to do. I guess we'll do that whenever someone else doesn't sign with the team. But just kind of makes me a little bit more depressed as a former Coyotes fan. In other news, two more things here. Actually, three more things. But the other two aren't as big. So there was a video posted on YouTube from Barstool Sports. They were going around at a Michigan football game, and you randomly see Luke Hughes in the background. And I remember seeing the tweets, and they're like, oh, Luke Hughes is there. Wow, that's cool. And then they see him with a brace. Or a sling. Not a brace. A sling. And we're like, what? Why does he have a sling? Like, for his arm. And I'm like, what? So then it came out, apparently. We were gonna know about this at some point, but I think because of that video, it became announced a lot earlier than planned that Luke Hughes is out 6 to 8 weeks to start not start the season. He's out 6 to 8 weeks right now with a left shoulder injury. So yeah, not ideal for New Jersey, especially a team that's trying to start off red hot. Luke Hughes was heading into his sophomore season. We probably won't see him until November now. So yeah, kind of rough.
Yeah. I didn't have Barstool Sports breaking a Luke Hughes injury on my bingo card this year. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah, me neither. I wasn't expecting that at all. I wasn't. You could have given me 1,000 guesses on how we'd figure that out. And
It's funny though, like on Twitter, it's like, what? Oh, what?
Yeah, Twitter exploded when that happened for sure. In other news, The NHL trade deadline and a few other NHL dates were officially announced, but the trade deadline is set for March 7th at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's usually around that time. I think last year was like March 9th or something like that. It's usually in that time frame, early March, usually, but we've kind of learned, especially in the last few years, that the trade deadline really doesn't matter because a lot of the big trades will just happen before the trade deadline, not even on deadline day. Deadline day is fun, but like usually all of the big name guys are traded unless you see a Tomas Hurdle get traded at like 3 o'clock. So again, that's yeah, that was definitely something. But overall, trade deadline's March 7th, 3 p.m. So I'll see you then. The final piece of news before we get into our Pacific preview. Sorry, the Carolina Hurricanes have reached a new arena deal and they have named their brand new arena the Lenovo Center. So, funny thing is, I have a Lenovo laptop. They do a lot of the like school computer things at my school, and every time I look at my Lenovo laptop, I think of the Carolina Hurricanes. So, thanks, Carolina. But LeBlanc, the reason why I'm talking about this, because why the hell would I talk about it anyways, is I did this thing with the Nordcast where I asked them if you could rename your favorite team's arena. So, Canadian Tire and Wells Fargo for me. If you could rename your arena to any other company, what would you name it to?
So Ottawa, if you don't know, Ottawa is like the shawarma capital of the world. I know it's weird. We have like the most shawarma places per capita per mile in the world. So in honor of like Ottawa and the heritage of shawarma, Shawarma Palace, the Shawarma Palace Center.
A shawarma like a restaurant?
Shawarma is like it's
Hamburger.
it's an Arabian food.
Oh, okay.
It's like chopped meat, chopped brisket, chopped chicken in a wrap.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
so like that's what people of Ottawa probably would want. But if I had to think, it's just imagine Shoppers Drug Mart place.
I know. I know. That's our Tail Arena name.
Yeah,
Shoppers Drug Mart
there
Arena.
you go.
Yeah, that would be terrific. I mean, that's like I guess it's like the Walgreens of Canada.
Yeah,
Or
basically
so for the Americans who don't know, that's like Walgreens in Canada.
Walgreens, CVS. Yes, it's like that.
I wouldn't know it either if I didn't have a Canadian friend. So just saying. But yeah, I thought that'd be fun to do. If I had to choose, I said Wawa Center because Wawa is
Yeah,
like a big gas station here. If I had to choose another one, probably well, there's the Xfinity Live Center right across the street. Funny thing is, I was literally just there yesterday, last night. I think actually right now, 24 hours ago, I was there because of the We'll get into that in a second because I do want to talk about that. But if I had to pick, oh man, I don't know. Like I feel like Wawa Center would make the most sense. But like I know they're gonna pick like some random company like when LA picked crypto.com, I'm like, what the
yeah,
hell?
that
Like Philly's gonna do the same thing, or it's gonna be the Comcast Center because Comcast owns the Flyers. So I thought
So,
that'd be
but I got a story about it. So back in the day, Ottawa used to have a lot of Swedish players, like a lot. This is back when I was like a kid. So there was talks that maybe they should name it the IKEA Center.
ooh ooh. What are you in London?
Yeah.
What?
It's and when Ottawa's Arena first opened, there was no name rights for like the first 2 years. It was just the Coliseum.
Yeah,
Co- the, co-
that's
yeah, and it
wow.
was, and that's why, it was the Palladium, sorry, and then the Coliseum. Because when you go down to where the arena is, you go down Palladium Drive, which is the name of the original name of the arena.
Yeah, well, originally in Philadelphia, it was named the Spectrum. I'm sure everyone knows that. Then they tore down the Spectrum for some reason. Then it was named something else for a few years, and then it was Wells Fargo. So it's been Wells Fargo for like 12
Mm.
years. It's been Wells Fargo for a very long time. So it's not surprising me that they're gonna change it. I don't think it's this year. I think it's the following year that it gets changed. So yeah.
Just,
Um,
I just want one more thing before we move on. What's your favorite arena name?
I don't know. There's a few that are good that are honestly pretty good that I like. Um, TD Garden was one of my
Yeah,
favorites
that's
honestly. MSG has got to be up there too. I'm trying to think. Like you put me like I am on the
a
spot.
spot. Yeah,
I mean, I've heard well, you've actually been there, so you can kind of speak on this. I've heard the Saddle Dome is trash, but it just looks so cool.
It's cool. Like it's really like I've been like I said it multiple times. Like when I went there, I trashed it, but then now looking back, it feels like you're in like a time warp where you're going back in time.
Yeah,
It's an old arena, but it feels like you're in like a big junior arena, and but it's got its unique quirks to it that make it. I would definitely want to go back before they tear it down. But yeah, if you asking me my favorite arena, I always like the Rogers Place because
yeah, Rogers too, probably.
it's unique. Because I know Ottawa used to be Scotiabank Place in Ottawa for a very long time.
I'm
It's
sure that will move.
before they changed it over. And then I've always liked I don't know Nationwide. I find Little Caesars Arena just as a name just like hilarious. Like
Well, you can't beat. Well, Little Caesars was
it's
great, but
Detroit, and
no Lewis.
yeah, and it's based but Little Caesars is a Detroit-based company, so
Yeah,
I get it. But yeah, I always like Nationwide. All the like arenas that like take from like a local, like it's like a local connection. Like you look at Florida for a while was FA Live Arena, was
it's
for
now Amarant,
Emirates
which I
Bank,
think is a
yeah,
smaller
Emirates
company.
Bank Arena, yeah, and then like for years the Tampa Arena was the Tampa Bay Times Forum.
Now it's
Uh,
Emily,
Amelia,
Emily.
Amelia, Amelia,
Oh,
Emily, yeah.
Amelia.
I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I think they're all pretty cool to be honest. There's not many that I don't like.
Ooh, Climate Pledge as well.
Climate Pledge is pretty good. It's
Yeah,
also a well, it's also an incredibly modern arena because it was built like 3 years ago.
it, it
But it's still
it's
well, you've actually been there,
yeah.
so
I've
you can
been.
just
I'll
yeah.
just before I know we're getting off topic, but we'll see that before we move on. It's like the outside exterior, like it looks old when you go inside. It's all rebuilt. It's
Yeah,
it's like it's my favorite arena ever, and I really want to go back someday.
I love the jumbo, the two
The two,
things, the
no,
two.
that's it's so sick. Yeah.
Those are incredible. Like whoever came up with that needs a raise.
hmm
Seriously.
And like
On.
outside light gets in as well from they got big windows up in
Yeah.
the it's
Right.
because the arena's like it's like you go down because it's like it's
Yeah.
underground almost. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Definitely. I would definitely want to go there. I've only been to. I know we're getting so off topic, but
Yeah.
who cares? I've only been to two pro arenas. Prudential Center, which just if it wasn't in Newark, I probably would have liked it a lot more. And then Wells Fargo, obviously, I have a special connection with that. But I would love to. What? I'll ask one more question. I know we're
Right.
so off
Okay.
topic, but
All right.
what is one arena that you haven't visited yet that you would want to go see?
MSG.
Yeah, that's what I figured you were gonna say. I would love to go to MSG, or like TD
That or
Garden.
TD Garden would be my second one because I got family down in Boston, so I'm gonna
I'm
try and
surprised
get
you haven't done that yet.
I'm gonna try and get the TD Garden this year.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised you haven't done that yet.
I
I feel
know.
like, I mean, well, for those who don't know, LeBlanc's a big travel guy. He's been like everywhere in the world, everywhere in North America,
Yeah.
and I'm surprised he hasn't been to Boston yet. So,
I haven't been to back in Boston since I was a kid, and like I
have you been?
know I'm
You
gonna
been to
try,
Buffalo?
but I've never been to Buffalo though.
Wow,
Buffalo,
that's like right. That's not that far from you.
Buffalo and they're pretty far. Buffalo and Boston,
Really?
it's like an 8 hour drive.
Oh, okay. I,
Yeah,
I, I had no idea.
Austin's like really
All right.
far east. But yeah, anyway, let's get
Yeah.
back. Let's get back.
All right, let's get back to the meat and potatoes, what everyone wanted to listen to. Not arenas. Let's go into the Pacific Division preview. So we're gonna start off with the Anaheim Ducks. They play in the Honda Center. By the so the Anaheim Ducks last year they finished. I think it was second last in that Pacific Division. If it weren't for San Jose, they would have been last again. It was another rough year, and I think that's kind of how it's been for Anaheim. But things are kind of looking up now. They've made a few moves. They let go of Jacob Silverberg, Max Jones, and Gustav Lindstrom, and they brought in Brian Dumoulin, Robbie Fabry, and Jansen Harkins. So no big move. They drafted Seneca and blanking about the other guy's name. He likes to hit. He hates Pete. He hates
Stolberg.
Goldberg. He loves to be physical. That's one thing you'll know about him. But again, those guys are in the future. But overall, this whole lineup looks really exciting. LeBlanc, do you have their lineup pulled up?
I do not, but I can. I'm going to get it up because I forgot we're doing a preview. So and
That's how
I'm
you. That's how you. That's how we did it last year. But
yeah,
again, Here,
I'm
last.
ne- I'm just never prepared for anything. My apologies. All right.
Don't worry. Don't
So
worry.
forward core is there according to before I get to this again. So by the daily face-offs, don't be going. Oh, the block is no shit. The block, yeah. Listen, daily face-off. We'll yell at them. First line we got Killorn, Leo Carlson, and Troy Terry. I expect Leo Carlson to actually play the full year this year.
Hopefully, he
Yeah.
looked really good last year. He's someone that I'm really excited for.
I'm really high on Leo Carlson. I really hope he can take the next step. Second line, we got Cutter Gauthier, Zegras, Vetrano.
Yeah, a
Top
lot of
six? Yeah, top six, honestly, solid.
top six is pretty good. It's definitely young and it's very top heavy. Hopefully, we'll see a bounce back year from Zegras too. It's the other thing
Yeah.
that I'm
Third
thinking
line,
about.
Robbie Fabry, Mason McTavish, my boy, and Ryan Strome.
Oh yeah, still, still not bad. It's a pretty good third line.
And then you go to the fourth line, which is Brock McGinn, Isaac Lundestrom, and Brett Leeson.
Lot of grit, for
A
sure.
lot of grit. I really do. Honestly, I like their forward core.
It's not bad. There's there's really nothing. I mean, I guess besides like that fourth line, it's not. It's pretty solid. If everyone stays healthy, that's the biggest thing. Like
Yes.
Anaheim's still with a lot of injury issues the last couple seasons. If they can stay healthy, then this is perfect. But obviously that's you could say that with every team. So that's obviously something. But I like the forward core. There's honestly the defense is where I have some concerns. We'll get into Cam Fowler in a second, but LeBlanc,
Yeah.
take it.
First pairing, we got Owen Zellweger and Cam Fowler.
Yep.
Cam Fowler apparently is it like he's seeking a trade or they're letting him. What's going on with
Yeah,
that?
there are talks that he reportedly might not show up to training camp because he wants to be traded. So I think training camp starts. Does this start next week or the following
I
week?
think it's the following week because I always say training camps like oh no, it will be next week actually because we're getting to the because the first preseason games are coming up in like late September. So
yeah, I know the Flyers first one's the 20. Wait, so they probably start like tomorrow or Tuesday.
I think it's after this prospect tournament. That's when camp starts.
Oh boy, so we might see Cam Fowler get traded like tomorrow.
We could see
If
it in the next couple weeks. Yes.
Camp, that's something interesting. I also think too, and we're getting off topic again, but I also do think that we're going to see some free agents get signed tomorrow.
I could see
Bold
it.
predictions. But yeah. Again, Fowler, big thing. We'll see if he gets traded. You could probably get a good amount for him. I mean, I don't know how much you could get for him, but you could probably get a decent amount for him. Yeah.
Yeah. Second pairing is Pavel Minchukov, former 67. We love our boys, and then Radko Gudas.
Oh yeah, future captain.
I that would look so weird seeing Radko.
That's supposed to be announced soon. Oh my god, I will. Oh, that would be awesome. If it ends, it's probably I want it to be like Mason McTavish or something like. Or
Yeah,
like
I feel like he's like a placeholder captain until.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
we'll see when they announce it though. Like, and then
go with someone young.
Yeah, and the final pairing is Brian Dumoulin and Jackson Lacombe.
Not terrible. I like a lot of that youth on that blue line. Minchukov, Lacombe, Zellweger, a lot of really solid guys. Yeah, makes you excited for the future. I thought Minchukov, by all accounts, had a solid year. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Didn't even know Brian Dumoulin was on the Ducks, but
yep, Dumoulin's there. Believe it or not, it's been a while since he left Pittsburgh, but
yeah, I know he was in Seattle for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then goaltending, Gibson, Dostal. Dostal's got he's got the tools to be a number one.
He's
ready.
He's ready. Gibson's just there, honestly. I think it's because they can't trade him. And I think Gibson loves it there, and they're just going to let his contract run out. I think he still has 2 or 3 more years left on it too.
Yeah, but Gibson's been seeking a trade. Like he would let them trade. If they came to Gibson and say, "Yeah, we have a trade for you. Are you going to decline?" He probably would say, "No, I'll take the trade."
Oh, yeah, obviously. But I think it's because a lot of teams don't really What, John
I
Gibson?
also do want to say a lot of players go to Anaheim because of how beautiful it is. Like,
Yeah,
if you haven't been to Southern California or Anaheim, it's just the beaches are breathtaking.
beautiful.
The culture is so I love it. Like I don't know, I haven't been back to Southern Cal in a while, but I really do. I love it. I love going down there.
Yeah, it's beautiful down there.
Mhm.
Never been, but beautiful.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, any more thoughts on Anaheim? I think this. Oh, we should probably give our prediction.
yes,
I think that I'm probably gonna put them either sixth or seventh. I could see them like not surprising people, but like doing better than expected.
yeah.
In my opinion.
I could see them being a dark horse for sure.
I'm not saying they make the playoffs, but
No,
like
no,
I
no.
could
I'm
see
saying they could be like they could surprise people.
I think they're a team that's like their forward core is gonna score. Their forward core is gonna be
Yes.
fun if they're healthy. So it's very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you have them?
So according to LeBlanc's big board, which is what I'm calling it now, I have
Big
I got the Ducks sixth place in the Pacific, but I have them at 28th in the league. But I could see them being much higher.
Yeah, I think sixth in the division is probably their ceiling. I could see that. I think they're better than San Jose, so I could probably see them finishing seventh at the lowest.
Mm.
Honestly, so yeah. Anaheim, exciting young team. We'll be looking forward to talk about them during the season, hopefully. Let's move into the Calgary Flames. The Flames, obviously, last year was such a rough year for Calgary. I feel like that gets so understated. They had to trade a lot of their big name players or a lot of their guys. And honestly, I think for all accounts, dealing with all that, I think they did a pretty good job finishing one game below 500. They let go of, in the offseason, even more of their core. Jacob Markstrom, Andrew Mangiapane, Oliver Shillington, AJ Greer, Jordan Osterley, and Dylan Dubé. They brought in Ryan Lomberg, Anthony Mantha, Jake Bean, Kevin Ball, Jarrett Sonorti, as we mentioned, and Devin Cooley. So, yeah, LeBlanc, what do you think about the Flames? It's going to be a rough year, I
It's going to
think.
be a very, very rough year in Calgary.
But they have pieces that make you excited. They have
Yes.
some good young guys that could be exciting.
I like what Craig Conroy has done. I think he understood for years. Calgary was denying it. Like, no, no, we don't need to rebuild. And for a
Yeah.
while, it kind of worked because they got to where they were, and then after
Mhm.
the incident, it all came crashing down.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly. So I think a lot of what this team is a lot of the guys who were just like left behind from the old regime and haven't been traded
Excuse
yet,
me.
and or guys who will get traded, and just a lot of the young guys for the future. I don't want to
Yeah.
look at this team right now.
All right. So I think these lines are completely incorrect, but we've all. So
Yep.
line one: Huberto, Backlund, Coleman.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, just put Uberdo on the first line. Put him with guys who can
Yeah.
pass. See what you can do with them. Maybe you can make a trade like Carlson, but I highly doubt it.
Got it. And like I think I've said this before, and I'm just going back to this. They should have traded him when the year that they were struggling. They should have just traded him at the deadline, but we can't go back in time. So here we
Well,
are.
they already had him signed,
Yeah. Well,
so
no, he was. You know what I mean. But anyway, moving on. Line two: Connor Zare, Igor Sharangovich, and Anthony Mantha.
yeah, that's not bad. I think Sharon Govich was really good last year. Mantha is a trade candidate. He's gonna get traded.
Yeah, and then Zare is one of their young guys who I expect to take that next step.
Yeah, he could be exciting.
As a top six, I'm not wowed by it. I'm not that impressed.
Yeah, it's not the worst,
But
but it's yeah,
but this
a lot of what if.
this third line, I'm actually excited about. But Marty Prospel, Nazem Kadri, Andrei Kuzmenko.
First off, why is Kadri on the third line?
Yeah,
Why is Kuzmenko on the third line? But yeah, that could be a fun line. Honestly, I think you have guys who can score. Kadri, I think. Listen, he's not what he was in Colorado. He might not. He
he had a really good year last year, though.
did really good last year for a team that was not so good. So makes you really excited for what's to come.
Mm. Fourth line, Ryan Lomberg, Kevin Rooney, Walker Dewar.
Not not terrible. Did you mention Peltier and Coronado?
They are not currently listed on the forward core.
Oh,
But
well, those are very good
I
goals.
expect Coronado to be a regular. I expect Pelche to try and get in that lineup.
There's, I would think so.
I don't think
I,
no disrespect to Walker Dewar, but I expect Coronado to take that spot.
yeah, me as well. I think that you want to get your young guys time. This is going to be a brutal year, but I mean Calgary, they would love that draft. They would love that high draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
So
Defense: Mackenzie Weegar and Daniil Miromanov. They got
yeah,
him in the Noah Hannafin trade.
yeah. I don't know a lot about Miromanov. I know you said Uyghur, right? Not
Yes,
Anderson.
Weegar.
Uyghur is serviceable defenseman. He's pretty good. There were actually rumors that they were going to trade him, so don't be surprised if that happens.
Weegar's
And he's on
from
a longer term deal
yeah, he
too.
is. They signed him on a long term deal. Weegar's also from my hometown.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Ottawa. Ottawa shout out.
Kevin Ball, who they got in the
Markstrom
Markstrom
deal.
trade, and
I love how this whole defense is just guys they traded for, and probably Rasmus Anderson's your other guy, right?
yeah, Rasmus Anderson, who also is in trade rumors.
He is. There were actually rumors about that too. So you think that the teardown's done? It's not. Probably.
Buddy, wait till the trade deadline. Buddy,
Oh my god, this team's gonna be.
fire
This
sale.
team's gonna be like horrible to watch. Yeah, well, at
Then,
least nobody's won it out yet.
then we got Jake
Thing.
Bean and Brandon Pascal.
Yeah, Bean was a reject from Columbus. Just never worked out there. I don't know a lot about Patchow, so
Yeah, I know nothing about Pascal. Jake Bean, high draft pick, former first round pick by Carolina. Didn't work in Columbus. I hope it works in Calgary because I really do like Jake Bean as a player.
yeah, me too. I think that we'll see how he does as a third pairing guy. Yep,
Then the
goaltending.
goaltending, we have Dustin Wolf and Dan Vladar.
Not a bad tandem.
It's not.
I think Wolf. We talked about a few episodes ago as like being probably the best paid starting goalie, probably because I would think he's the starting goalie next year. So overall, just it's a weak team. It's going to be a rough year. They're honestly not as bad as some people may think, but I think the team it's going to be a rough year.
It's on paper it doesn't seem that bad, but it's gonna be bad. Like Dustin Wolf is a starter that's gonna have its ups and downs. Defense, I like the defense, but I still think it's good of a hold up against these scoring powerhouses that are in their division.
Yeah, yeah, I would say so.
And the forward core is nothing to write home about. It's got depth, but it's not nothing to write home about.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see a few of those guys
Yeah.
get traded.
And
There were also rumors about Kadri getting traded too.
yeah, like
So,
this team post trade deadline is going to be bad.
yeah, they're gonna be really bad. Unless if Conroy decides, yeah, I think maybe we should keep a few of these guys just down the road for the long term. But why would you do that? You could get so much more assets. I feel like you could probably, if you shipped out Uyghur, I don't know, if maybe you could get a first.
You probably
And
could.
they already have a lot of draft capital. So,
Right. What is your prediction?
probably either it's like the same as Anaheim, 7th or 6th is where I have them. I think I have Calgary lower than Anaheim because I'm a little bit higher on Anaheim. But I'd probably say 7th in that division.
Going back to the box big board. Why we call it the big board is because it's a big board. It's what it
It's
is.
a big board.
Yeah.
It's a big board.
I got Calgary 7th in the Pacific, 29th in the NHL. I'm not that high on Calgary this season.
Yeah.
Unless they surprise everybody and go on a run. Like I say,